go there?
at that time because of COVID. And I was really afraid if I go a visa and work there with a visa, that they're going to make it
Congratulations on the film, first of all.
Really?
I had a friend.
Hope you're
that
happy to be
happened
here. I mean,
Oh, wow.
Because
we are
when
happy
I'm
to have you.
in the States, I always go on an ESTA. Because I'm not getting paid
The
for
weather is a
States.
bit challenging in Locarno,
And
but
as I'm in Switzerland, I'm like, I'm not going to be taxed in the US.
Okay.
There's no fucking way. That's
okay.
big. It's like not happening.
Is it even possible? Okay, fine.
So do you like the Coco Chanel
You're
project?
trying that.
Well,
You're trying that.
Yeah.
yeah, it's going well. Yeah.
Fine, so
That's
you're
okay.
trying.
Well, it's very intense, very tiring.
Oh God, I
But
can only.
I love the fact that they have for 6 of the episode, it's women directors.
Oh, that's great.
Isn't that great?
That is amazing.
And there's Julien Ducournau, you know, who got and there's Helen Shaver. She's quite good. Do you know?
Helen Shaver. Yeah, she's Canadian.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was looking. You know, I'm doing we're doing
been a long way.
series this fall in Budapest. But initially we thought we were going to do it in Canada.
Is it the one you told me
speak
about?
in English.
No,
This is
that's
just
that's reserved for you.
okay,
If you still want
okay,
it.
yeah.
You're the goddess. You're Juno.
you can wear it. No, you can wear
that,
this.
by the way.
She does?
She wants
Oh,
to,
okay.
she wants
I know,
Okay.
because I don't speak French.
No, it's not that
Italian,
one.
yes,
It's
French.
another one. I didn't.
But
It
yeah, we
wouldn't
will
have been
manage.
interesting to do. It's called Fallen.
It will be easy.
It's really a new age. It's really a new age show. You know. It's
So,
more like
welcome. Thank you for being here. Press conference of our Piazza Grande film today, Paradise Highway. I'm very happy to have with us the producer of the film, Claudia Blumhuber. Please, a round of applause. The two magnificent actresses of the film, Hala Finlay, Juliette Binoche, and the scriptwriter and director of the film, Anna Gutto. I will start with a couple of easy questions before opening the floor to your question. Anna, Paradise Highway is the result of years of research within the truck driver communities. Can you tell me a bit more about this experience and about the genesis of the film?
Yeah, I mean, it's... can you all hear me? Am I doing this all right?
Right, yeah.
So I actually just realized a couple of months ago that I started writing this as I was pregnant with my first son. And then I wrote the first draft right after he was born, and he's turning, in October is his birthday, he's turning 10 years. So, and I started exploring the female trucking community soon after I started writing. So from like 2013, I started working with this woman, Desiree Wood. She is a female trucker, and she has a trucking community called Real Women in Trucking. And her community does these conference calls where they talk with each other over conference call while they're on the road. And they talk about everything from, engine repairs to how to be safe on the road and safe on the truck stops and giving each other advice and also just being a support to each other. So I would sit in my little apartment in New York listening in for hours and hours of these conversations. And it was fascinating, and it made me respect them so much. All of these women came from lives that had had trauma, that had had strong histories, and they had made active choices for themselves to make a better life for their future and for their children. So it was extremely inspiring, and also just being in that world in that way. I also went on the road with Desiree Wood, as did Juliette later. And it became an integral part of how I approached the whole project. And it colored the characters and the story a lot from then on. And there's actually, in the film, a lot of the dialogue between the women is pretty much direct transcript from those conversations.
Thank you very much. My next question is for the actresses, because the emotional core of the film really lies in your relationship. There's such a great chemistry between the two of you, and it's very interesting to see a piece of the history of cinema, Juliette Binoche, and a super talented newcomer, Hala Finlay, working together. I would like to know from you two, how did you work together? How did it go?
Well, Actually, when we first met, we met in some very intense rehearsals, and I feel like we broke the ice pretty fast. I mean, we started visiting and just bonded super closely, and you were always so protective of me, Juliet, and I found that really special.
Yeah, well, the first day of shooting, when I saw Hala starting to work together, I felt, well, we saved. Because, because the journey we had to go through, the story was so, between us, as the relationship, the emotional link, and I just was fascinated by how generous you were in your emotions to give to your character and the relationship that we shared in the film. So when I saw you, I felt like this is the miracle of this film. One of them.
Yes, yes, very much. It was such a strong moment to see them together the first time, and just knowing that they would take care of these characters and they would make them into something even more than I would have ever imagined.
Great. And a question for the producer, Claudia. This film is really a collective effort of female professionals, actresses, producer, the director. I would like to hear your opinion, your perspective as a woman producer on a film like this one.
That's an interesting question. I mean, about, I think, 12 years ago, I worked on a female action film, like female-led action film in terms of the star. And I remember I was in a meeting at Paramount with like 20 executives, and I had a list of, like 20 directors, and believe it or not, there was not a single female on it. And I'm like, what the hell? And then I was told at that time, yeah, females can't direct action. It's not out there. And I'm like, holy shit, that's gonna change. And so at that film, we took a male director who's very seasoned. He did James Bond before and so on. But I figured this really has to change. It's just not true. And so really made it one of the goals to do female-driven and female-led films, because I just figured that that's really a disparity. Like 20 directors, no one female. And so when Anna came, I think Anna came through, again, a female friend to our boat in Cannes, and we read the script overnight, and we were like, holy crap, that's an amazing, it's just an amazing script. And I think that's the other part, obviously it's not about female-led or female, it actually shouldn't make a difference, right? You want to have a story that has a lot of heart, that makes an impact, that creates awareness about a subject matter that's so important. We happen all to be females. I think it's more about, it can't happen that because you're a female, you can't make the film, right? It's not the other way around. That's what was it before, and I think what we're trying to do is, we're trying to get rid of the obstacles, right? Actually, in a perfect world, we wouldn't even be talking about that it's all females. It should be normal, right? So, but it was, an amazing experience with all of us, and it has a lot of heart, and it's a movie it's been taking a lot from all of us, but it was, everything in it was worthwhile, and I feel really empowered collectively here.
Thank you very much. I'm sure you have questions, so raise your hand. I have a question over there.
Hi, I'm Marlene for Schweizer Illustrierte. Ms. Binoche, I have a question. What surprised you about the truck driving life? And since you've been here before at the festival, what is your favorite or most unusual memory of being at this particular festival?
So, my surprise was to meet with Desiree, who was the inspiration of this film. One of the inspirations, and she's very practical. I asked a lot of questions because we went on a trip for about 4 or 5 days. And so I had a lot of time to ask her questions about her life and how it's been, and the dangers, of being a truck driver. And it was like mind-opening for me. And the long hours of work, you know, usually they do 11 hours and then they have to stop, and you eat junk food, you know, it's just because they cannot go into small roads that much, so they have to go on highways or big roads, and usually that when they stop to eat something, it's really crappy food. And I say, what's going on? You should do a revolution, you know? And I really felt for them, because it's not easy to be stuck, you know, in front of a windshield and living in that condition. For women, it's tough, it's rough, and they have to be, you know, malin, as you say in French. You have to be, I don't know how you said that in English. What?
Smart.
What? Smart. Yeah, you have to be smart in order to be protected and to do the job you want. And I remember once, Desiree, there was a moment we were going to go and get gas, and she knew that if she was going to go in one place, the guy was not going to be happy about that. And she said, oh, so you're going to see, oh, he's not going to be happy. But then she needed to go there. And so she went, and the guy went like crazy, like, yeah, really screaming. And she screamed even more than him. And then I thought, okay, you've got to be strong. And there was, you know, the animal in her really woke up when she needed to, you know, be in front of that kind of a force. And so, but there's a sort of no fear. You have to be defiant in order to be in that world. And that I was in admiration in a way, because she really put the women together in order to make room for them to exist. Because what I learned from her is that when you pass to have the CDL, which is the driving license for truck drivers, you have to pass tests. And usually women are being raped during this test, because they have to be on the road for a day and a half. They have to sleep in the sleeper with the instructor in order to get a CDL. And usually women get raped during that time. And so she is, you know, learning laws by herself, and in order to go into the court and make the laws change. She's a force. She's amazing. And so to be inspired by this kind of character, you know, before the shooting and while we were shooting, because Claudia, the producer, allowed her to be on set with us to give, you know, to be precise about, you know, what is the everyday basic life. So it's not a documentary, but it's very well documented. And the whole, you know, cast and crew was really involved in the story to tell that particular, you know, story for the world. And as far as Locarno Film Festival, I'm always happy to be here. It's not a small festival. It's a strong and specific, unique festival to show author films as well as international diamonds that come out in the movie business. So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Question over there?
I have a double questions for Mrs. Gudornstart and Ms. Binoche. Stanislavski said that director has to fade out in actor's work. Anna, do you agree with this idea?
Fade out?
I'm sorry.
The director has to fade out in actor's work.
Disappear, right?
Disappear, you're right. Disappear.
Right. So that the director has to disappear.
Disappear in actor's work. And Juliette, any directors push you to do something? Like you see his trademark in your artwork when you see the movies? Referring to this concept that director has to disappear in actor's work. So double question.
Yeah, I mean, I can certainly, if I understand the question.
I can't see you, baby.
If I understand the question correctly, I mean, what I would say is that the actor, once I'm on set, it's the actor's work that's important, not my work. My work is then to try to make the space for them to do their work the best they can do, because they know what to do. But obviously, you know, sometimes there can be, so I prefer to have conversations in advance. Also, there is a lot that's in the script that talks to the character. So if I understand your question correctly, then yes. I mean, once we're on set and we're working, it's not about me. And also, it's not really about the actors either. It's about the story. And it's about the characters. So whatever the actors then need, I try to give. I can't always give. You know, I would love to give more time, more of so much. But my job is to be there for them, the way that I see it, and for the story, ultimately.
I think it depends on the director you're with. And some directors, just the presence is enough to elevate you into other places you've never been. So it doesn't depends on words, on whether, but it depends on something of the trust that there's between a director and an actor. But as an actor, it's wonderful to have a reference, somebody who's going to look after you, because then you can plunge and jump into the unknown and go into places where you've never been. And when a director is pushing you into that world, then it's wonderful because it gives you, you know, sort of freedom. But the trust between director and you as an actor is so important, because it really gives a new space for both sides. Directors daring to ask the actors, and actors daring to. I feel like I'm pushing the director as well sometimes. I have to. But it's not about disappearing or fading out. It's about connecting, which is a little different. It's a connection within yourself, but with the others, not only with the director, but with the other actors and the DP. You know, it's a whole group thing, and at the end, it's what's inside of the camera, which is the audience. You know, how do I open up, expose myself in order to move the people who's going to be sitting in the, you know, during that time, and how am I going to wake them up? How am I going to, you know, fill them up? That's where the aim is. Do you want to answer that?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
The question is, does the director disappear when you're acting, or does he need to disappear? You know, in the...
The reason I'm asking, because that if you probably saw everyone, Tarkovsky, the huge genius man, and his favorite actor, Solzhenitsyn, really duplicate his accent, his voice, so he's kind of became a double of him. So that's why I was asking, like, do you really referring to director? Is it the right way to do the acting work or not for you? Please.
I don't believe the director really needs to fade out or anything. I mean, just like you said, having that connection is really important.
But you're serving a story, you're serving a role. So as an actor, everybody, the director is serving something higher, bigger, amazing, that you're going to create in the moment. And we don't know what it is. That's the big surprise, because the set is like this, and the sun is like that, or the rain is like that, or the mosquitoes are like that, or, you know, the connection between. So it's a discovery. That's why it's so magic in a way, because it's never what you expect. It's sometimes disappointing, or sometimes, you know, on the contrary, it's bigger or different. Yeah.
I think from a production or producer's point of view, what you're looking for, if you're looking for a director, is you look for somebody to be able to create that safe space so that the actors and the performers can really, you know, really go into the character and be in the story and bring it out. But at the same time, it needs, you know, the director needs to be able to do exactly what you said, to push, but needs to know when to push. So it's not all at the same level, right? Yeah. And I think that's the delicate balance, you know, to find somebody who can create the safe space on the one side, but be able to push as well on the other.
And with the film, the story pushed us, because it's a rough story. as well as the heat was double this, you know, it was really hot. And we were shooting nighttime, daytime, nighttime, like 4 or 5 times. So the exhaustion and the tension of the story, as well as the mosquitoes at 5 p.m., they were like just in time. And you putting a lot of product, it doesn't work.
Yeah, it
so
doesn't
you're covering
help.
yourself. So you see,
Yeah.
you see the crew covering with nets, and us actors totally naked. And like, how are we going to handle this? It's also the whole conditions that is pushing you in.
And it's about the story. It's all of us coming together to elevate the story. So it's not about me as a director or anybody.
Yeah.
It's really about trying to, and we are all pushing.
Yeah, yeah.
And none of us are fading away, I hope. Because that would be quite disastrous. I mean, everyone is very present and very much there to make it happen. Well, I mean, yeah. You know what? I would say the story knows what it wants. The story knows what it wants, and everything that's a part of it. Yes, but the story becomes in the moment right there. You know, I have written the story, but the script is just letters on a page. That's not a film. So the film is created in that moment when I'm with Juliet and Hala in that little truck, and it's sweaty and it's warm, and the seat is falling apart, and the photographer is trying to get in, but it's really tight, and that's the moment when that scene happens. So yes, I have obviously, and also a project like this that I've worked on for so long, there is so much that I know that the scenes need. But in that moment, that's when that scene is happening. It's not fully constructed in my head before, because that's when it's happening with these wonderfully talented people and them in front of the camera with all of the circumstances and with the text and the scene. That's when it becomes what it is. And I guess that's why I say I'm not important. What's important is the story and everyone who are working towards telling that story.
To have a target, to have the...
I'm sorry?
To develop the results of it.
And to, like Juliet is saying, ultimately, how do we portray that story? How do we make that story into something for the audience, where it meets the audience in that moment?
Yeah, you pick for the audience, not for yourself, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
What I was
interpretation.
also very impressed by is that the responsibility that Hala took on the preparation of her character. Before shooting that, she didn't rely on anyone, but just herself in preparing. And I thought, wow, she's that conscious at 12 years old. That's quite amazing. Because, you know, of course, as an actor, that's what you learn throughout time, is that you don't expect anything from the director, in a way, because you've got to be responsible of your own shit. You know, you're the one being, you're riding the bicycle at the moment when it says action and in between action and cut. But I was amazed to see how, you know, a little one, now she's bigger, but then a little one was able to do that and not relying on anybody, just herself.
Thank you.
No, it's true.
You were
Okay, no, I'm afraid that our time is over, but I really love that this press conference turned into a masterclass of actor-director connect. I mean, Stanislavski would indeed be proud of us. I'm very sorry. I think we would have gone on forever, but time is really over. So thank you very much, you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
One more sip, yeah.